AskReddit by Llewellyn. Who's the worst main character we're supposed to sympathize with? That bitch from the Bears that goes in their house and eats all their porridge. Emily from Emily in Paris. She fucks up and barely suffers the consequences. Sleeping with a friend's partners and still remains friends with both of them openly. Screws up business opportunities, nothing besides a slap on the wrists, and somehow, it's magically resolved. And her whole I am a dumb American, Bon Apple Tea. And she dresses like if Harry Styles was colorblind. Her banging the teen was when I noped out of there. Mark from Rent. I love Rent, but as I get older the more ridiculous it gets. Mark is a rich kid who has parents that love him, but he runs off to cosplay as someone who is poor to make films, which is really just him pointing his camera at poor people all day. He doesn't think he should have to pay rent to Benny because they were friends and he let them stay for free for a long time, and he thinks that should just last forever. Then he finally gets a job but quits because it was selling out. I love Rent, but yeah, they were all shitty. Benny's like, you know how I'll let you stay here for free in my property for a long time? Well, I'd like to continue to let you stay here for free if you stop people from wrecking this new creative art thing I'm building. And, you guys can even use it. Can you please just help stop people from ruining it? Because I feel like I'm not getting a lot here. Also, someone just murdered my dog. And they're just like, why are you? That stupid Will Smith fish and Shark Tales. Gonna need to rewatch this with mature eyes. I remember liking this movie but don't remember thinking he was an ass, must have been too young. Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy. Dude's son straight up got kidnapped and his wife got injured to the point she couldn't perform surgeries because his stepdad put a hit out on her, and it still wasn't enough for him to leave his dumb motorcycle club. His wife begged him to leave for their safety and he wouldn't. She tried to leave on her own with her children and he stopped her. Then she ends up getting murdered by his psycho mom. Dude was a straight up pose. Jax got terrible towards the end, but they also destroyed other characters too. The worst for me was Juice's whole secret blackmail storyline. Cade Yeager from the newer Transformers movies. Was Sam a good main character? No. Not at all. But damn, Cade is horrible. In his first, let's say, 10 minutes on screen we learn that he doesn't pay for his house, his electricity, he doesn't pay his employee, he is a shit inventor, overly protective of his daughter and all around an ass. And he only gets worse. Was that the one whose daughter was with a guy that had like an entire conversations out Romeo and Juliet laws? Whole thing just felt icky. That bald-headed little bastard from a kid's show who acts like a spoiled shit. Kayla did not want to go to the park today. Like all days, Kayla was being passive-aggressive. I always told my kids that Kayla had cancer, which is why he was bald and why his parents literally let him get away with anything and everything. They are fine preteens now, lol. Evan Hansen. He's a legit monster. At least in the musical. He gets called out for his actions by his friends and loses everything. The movie cut all that because God fucking forbid we hold him accountable for being a massive creep. Our Grandpa Joe hat. Edit. Crap, this is my most upvoted comment now. But it's so mediocre. Deleted. Sierra Burgess. She was a dick. One might even go as far as to say she's a loser. This is the thread where I learn how out of touch with popular culture I am. I only recognized Tom and Amp, Jerry. I would have said Nate from Ted Lasso, but the show caught my vibe and turned him into the antagonist. I hope he doesn't get a redemption arc. I suspect he may. The star got one. The owner got one. The lackey got one. The three hooligans at the pub kind of got one. I'm bad with names. Dawson Leary from Dawson's Creek. The real villain was whomever was cutting Jen's hair. Rory Gilmore whiny, narcissistic, cheated on multiple boyfriends. In hindsight, it's not a surprise she turned out how she did with everyone powdering her ass from day one of the show. The way she collapsed because one whole person told her she wasn't cut out for the career she wanted was proof of that. In any other show, that would be the point where the protagonist digs deep to remember why they wanted that dream or realize their talents were better suited for something else. Instead, Rory trashes a boat, quits Yale for half the year, moves in with her grandparents because Lorelai put a foot up her ass for once, and then spun her wheels for the next decade after graduation, doing nothing of note while thinking her farts smelled of roses. Mitchum did absolutely nothing wrong, and boy was he ever vindicated in the sequel. Carrie Bradshaw. In the reboot, Miranda steals the obnoxious crown right off her head though. Debbie Gallagher from Shameless. Truly a horribly selfish, self-centered, and all-around horrible person. The Gallaghers are all supposed to be bad people. Still, I agree she was my least favorite character. They tried too hard to make her a Fiona replacement, and the character they had made with her just didn't fit that role, so it was this weird disjointed character arc. She was so much better as one of the younger kids and the one desperate for an actual family instead of a matriarchal role. All the nerds from Revenge of the Nerds. Everyone in that movie. Everyone. Abe Lincoln from Clone High's kind of an obscure one-season wonder from 20 years ago that not enough people cared about, but I feel a few fans will be here and agree with me. Did you see the pool? They flipped the bitch. Emily from Emily in Paris. Deleted. Tori Vega from Victorious. She kissed Beck in front of everyone just to get back at Jade, and she kissed Kat's boyfriend because she was jealous. And she didn't seem to care that her prom prevented Jade from doing her performance. Agreed. Also, I thought Kat and Jade were more impressive vocalists. It drove me crazy that Tori was the main character despite most of the people around her being more talented and enjoyable to watch. Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why. And X200B. Commits suicide and becomes romanticized by the school and everyone around her, gets a cute boy to become obsessed with her and view her as the one who got away, and gets revenge on all her bullies. It's everything you don't want to tell or show a person struggling with suicidal thoughts. They also specifically asked suicide awareness and prevention organizations what to do and not do when depicting suicide and promptly ignored every single thing they were told. This show is disgusting and pathetic, and the creators should be ashamed. Piper from Orange is the New Black. This is my first instinct as well, but I don't know that we're supposed to sympathize with her. It's the sort of show that makes me think it's intentional. Mainly because we can with so many of the other characters. Greg from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You were never supposed to sympathize with Greg. I think Jeff made him a narcissistic shithead on purpose so the audience could laugh whenever things didn't go his way. They never did. K. Lau. That fucker basically teaches kids how to whine about shit because it's not fair. What's not fair is parents having to listen to their kids behave like that lollipop looking piece of shit. Fuck you, K. Lau. You better hope I better never see your ass in the streets. Marty and Wendy Bird are total sociopaths. They destroy people's lives everywhere they go. Yet, I find myself rooting for them. It's weird, I really was rooting for them until the end, and never once does the show try to pretend that they aren't monsters. Eleanor Guthrie from Black Sails. We're supposed to root for her because of the situations she's often in, struggling as an independent woman in a ruthless man's world of the 1700s, but she fucks over her supposed friends and everyone that's ever tried to help her at every opportunity. Then turns around and is shocked, horrified, and plays the victim when they do it back. Classic narcissist. The great thing about her character though is that all the signs are evident if you rewatch. She gets Vane to screw over Teach only to then screw over Vane multiple times. Vane calls her out about it to her face when she steals Abigail from the fort, saying that she will betray absolutely anyone. She screws over Hornigold for Vane after Vane takes the fort. She screws over Max in the first few episodes because she wanted to hunt the Urka. She's consistent throughout the whole show about being out for herself, even if she doesn't admit it. Ross and Rachel. They really do deserve each other. Despite his flaws, I will defend his reaction to the sandwich. His boss was a fucking cunt for doing what he did. Jerry from Tom and Jerry. Now, nothing in the Tom and Jerryverse is really consistent and a lot of their dynamic depends on whichever studio did the episode. But I remember a lot of times when Tom wasn't really trying to seriously hurt Jerry. He was usually toying with him like cats do, or if he'd cross the line, he would immediately feel bad about it and then save Jerry himself. Meanwhile Jerry, the little fuck we're supposed to root for, uses that to his advantage to lure Tom into situations that genuinely would have killed him if not for cartoon immortality. I always rooted for Tom. The annoying orange really was annoying. Meredith Grey. How many unknown sisters can one bitch have ?